Hey there, Kevin Colby here, and this is the Real Creative Life video podcast. Let me ask you a question. I ran across this the other day in a Facebook group, and I actually see this type of question a lot in various forms. But it basically said, "Hey, do you think it's a good idea or do you think it's a good idea to?" And what I find a lot is people get paralyzed by thinking of doing something and they're seeking out permission. Are you that way? I mean, do you just dive in and do stuff, or are you like, yeah, I don't know? And so you always are seeking permission before doing. Well, I want to read what I wrote. It kind of inspired something because and I see this more with new content creators. I don't know where you are on your journey, but I see it a lot more with people that are new, just starting out. It's always the fear of doing the wrong thing. Well, should I use end cards on my YouTube channel? Should I do a series of videos? Should I have an open? Do you think it would be okay if? And what happens is it becomes an analysis by no paralysis by analysis. It's the constant seeking out, hoping I'm not going to do the wrong thing, because if I do, what? I mean, typically the world ain't going to end if you make a mistake. In fact, when I forgot who said it. Somebody said recently that they would rather fail fast so they understand. And if you fail, you're not a failure. You're just you failed at that. So I think a lot of times it's the fear of trying something. It's the fear of doing something because we're so afraid it may not work. Well, guess what? It may not. It may not. I mean, when you're on social media, when you're on platforms like I am, it's easy to only see the success. I mean, tell me if you've experienced this, where you've been like on Instagram and you're scrolling and there's all the pretty people, and they just look so great and all the time. And in reality, it's like they're not like that all the time. We all have bad days. Sometimes we look bad too. But there's this illusion out there. And that's one of the things I want to do with this video podcast is I want to share ups and downs and the reality of being a solo content creator. I am a solo business owner, but I've also got a family, and so I create content for myself. I create content for my business and for clients. But getting back to this comment, so I kind of issued this as a challenge, and it's a challenge that I want to issue to you and me in 2022, is that get rid of statements like, is it a good idea to? And just do it. Just do it. Try it. See what happens. If it doesn't work, whatever you're trying, then change it. Stop it. Pivot to something else. The only way you're going to really know if something will work is trying something. I used to host a video podcast show with a buddy of mine called Two Guys Talking About. It's still out there. It's on YouTube and Facebook. We did all 3 seasons on Facebook. I think we only did the first season, maybe 2, on YouTube. But my friend said, well, before we started, what if nobody watches? What if nobody comments? What if nobody shows up? And I said, the only guarantee I'll make is if we don't do anything, nobody will watch. So, it's easy when you're a content creator. You're going to be a content creator. You're growing as a content creator to just get so caught up in the should I. I've been there. I can still do that. I can over research what other people are doing. And the reality of it is, even if you're in the exact same niche as somebody else, you're going to bring a different perspective and a different take to it. Chances are, unless there's you and somebody else reading the exact same script, which would be kind of stupid, unless you're acting. If you're doing that, think about it. Then then you're just copying the other person. Um, like I told somebody once, is if you want to vlog like Casey Neistat, don't vlog like Casey Neistat because I'll watch Casey. I'm not going to watch you. Now you can learn from Casey. So it's okay to take chances. It's okay to try different things. But one of the things that I want to challenge you to do is stop asking permission and just do. Just create. Just put it out there. If you've never ever started a YouTube channel, you've never ever started a podcast, and you don't know what to do, make that your first episode. Well, Kevin, who's going to watch it? Who's going to listen? Maybe nobody. Or maybe it speaks to somebody else who is struggling. I want this video podcast to be more about encouraging and inspiring and things like that. I don't know that I'm going to get into deep dives on editing and stuff like that. If you want that, check out my YouTube channel, the other YouTube channel. I don't know that I'll always post everything to YouTube on this, and I may just go with a podcast part. There's so many ways of doing the same thing. Like I'm a Mac guy. I don't know about PCs, but I'm a Mac guy, and there's so many different ways to do the same thing on a Mac. So, should I have a hotkey for a copy and paste, or use a shortcut, or use the drop down? Doesn't matter. Do what you want. That's why I don't ever rag on people when, I've seen these guys like, you're wasting so much time if you're not using shortcuts in Final Cut Pro. Well, maybe. Or maybe that's the way I edit because I'm comfortable with it. So as you create content, as you are beginning to create content, or as you've been doing it and you just keep feeling stuck, be careful about constantly asking for permission. Now, that's different than asking for feedback. Asking for feedback is really different. But even then, be careful who you're asking. Because one thing I see a lot in Facebook groups is people will ask things, and there are tons of people that will be willing to give you their advice as if it really is real, and it's just really more of opinion than anything else. If I ask you about, do you like this shirt? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Doesn't make it right or wrong. So, one of the things I would love to hear from you is if you're struggling with the permission thing, what's holding you back from just trying? I think if you examine that without trying to get too philosophical on you, but examine what's holding you back, and then maybe bust through that. Maybe it's the fear of what people will say. Well, yeah, when you and I are creating content on a public platform, yeah, we're opening ourselves up to people that just don't like it, don't like the content. That's okay. That's their opinion. And if they cross a line, block them. And if they really cross a line, report them. Thankfully, I've only had to do that just a few times, ever. A couple of times on Facebook, a couple of times on YouTube. So my challenge to you this year is stop asking for permission and just do more. Try it. And if it doesn't work, change it. Because you know what? A lot of the times, the people you're asking, they don't know any better. And even if somebody has done it and been, quote, successful, whatever you want to define success as, and maybe that's another topic, it doesn't mean that you're going to have more or less. It may just not work. And then again, it may. And we all learn from things, from our failures and our successes. Otherwise, then nobody would ever succeed in business, right? I hope this has inspired you. I hope this has helped you if you get caught in that constant asking permission thing, which is different than feedback, which is different than just like, hey, can I check in? But otherwise, it can be like a creative killer. It can just stop you cold, and there's nothing worse than that. And I've been there. If you have any questions or anything like that, you can actually leave me a voicemail. So if you go to realcreativelife.com, there's a place to leave a message, or if you're listening to this on Anchor, you can do that as well. I do plan on doing video podcast. Should be available on YouTube. Should also be available on Spotify. But I would love to hear from you, and who knows? Maybe if the question, if I like the question, I'll feature it in a show and answer that, because I think that could be really fun, and it's just a way to grow as a community. So, but the idea is these are going to be really raw. They're going to be hopefully simple and not crazy long. I hope not. But whatever you do, remember to share your gifts so you can make an impact in the world, and don't ever doubt that you've got a message, because the world needs to hear it. This is The Real Creative Life, and I'm Kevin Colby, and we'll chat next time. Bye.